Have you ever heard of a country that isn't on the map? I'm not talking about a mythical place like Atlantis or El Dorado. I'm talking about a real place with real people, a real government, and its own flag. I actually stayed there, and today I'm taking you with me. The place is called Transnistria. Ever heard of it? Probably not. Sandwiched between Moldova and Ukraine. It's a breakaway state that declared independence from Moldova back in 1990, but here's the catch. Almost no other country in the world recognizes it as a sovereign nation. For the rest of the world, it's just a part of Moldova. But for the 500,000 people who live there, it's home. Getting in was an adventure in itself. I crossed the border from Moldova, and it felt like stepping through a time warp. The border guards, stern-faced and serious, were wearing Soviet-style uniforms. The hammer and sickle, symbols I'd only seen in history books, were proudly displayed on their flag and government buildings. It was surreal. My first stop was the capital, Tiraspol. The city is a living museum of the Soviet era. Wide, clean boulevards are lined with imposing Soviet-style apartment blocks. You see statues of Lenin everywhere, standing tall in public squares as if the USSR never fell. I saw old Lada cars rumbling down the streets, sharing the road with trolleybuses that looked like they hadn't been updated in decades. It felt less like a country and more like a perfectly preserved movie set from a Cold War spy film. But despite this frozen-in-time appearance, life goes on. People were incredibly friendly and curious. They were surprised to see a foreign traveler, but always welcoming. I remember walking into a local market. The air was filled with the smell of fresh produce and baked bread. Elderly women, their heads covered in colorful scarves, were selling homegrown vegetables, honey, and homemade pickles. They didn't speak English and I didn't speak Russian, but a smile and a bit of pointing went a long way. I bought some local cheese and a bottle of kvass, a traditional fermented drink, and it was delicious. One of the most fascinating things about Transnistria is its currency. They have their own money, the Transnistrian ruble, which you can't exchange anywhere else in the world. Once you leave, it's just a souvenir. But here's the truly unique part. They have plastic coins. They look like little poker chips, in different shapes and colors for different denominations. Holding them felt so strange, like playing a board game instead of buying groceries. It's a small detail, but it perfectly captures the quirky, one-of-a-kind nature of this place. I also visited the city of Bender, famous for its massive 16th-century fortress. It has seen battles between the Ottoman Empire, the Russian Empire, and even Charles XII of Sweden took refuge here. Walking along its ancient walls, you can feel the layers of history beneath your feet. From the top, I could look out over the Dniester River, the very waterway that separates this unrecognized republic from the rest of Moldova. It's a powerful symbol of their separation. While I was there, I tried to talk to as many locals as I could. I met young people who dream of traveling the world with their Transnistrian passports, which are almost useless outside their borders. I talked to older generations who remember the Soviet Union with a sense of nostalgia and see Transnistria as the last bastion of that ideology. The perspectives were so varied. Some people feel trapped, while others are fiercely proud of their independence and their unique identity. It's a complex and deeply human story. Many people associate Transnistria with smuggling and conflict, a lingering black hole of Europe. And yes, its political situation is complicated, a frozen conflict zone with a heavy Russian military presence. But what I found was a place of quiet dignity. I didn't feel unsafe for a single moment. I found normal people living normal lives in a very abnormal situation. Kids were playing in the parks, couples were walking hand in hand along the river, and families were gathering for meals. My time in Transnistria was a profound lesson in perspective. It showed me that the world map we see is a political construct, and it doesn't always tell the full story. There are entire nations with their own cultures, histories, and dreams that exist in the blank spaces between the lines we draw. It challenges your very idea of what a country is. Would I recommend visiting? Absolutely, but with an open mind. It's not a typical tourist destination. There are no fancy resorts or souvenir shops on every corner. What you get instead is something far more valuable, a glimpse into a world that technically doesn't exist. It's a journey back in time and a deep dive into a complex geopolitical puzzle. It's a reminder that our world is far more strange, diverse, and fascinating than we often imagine. So the next time you look at a map, remember Transnistria. Remember that there are stories hidden in the margins waiting to be discovered. It's one of the most unforgettable places I've ever been. Thanks so much for watching and coming along on this journey with me. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more adventures from off-the-beaten-path destinations, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you've ever heard of Transnistria or if you've been to any other unrecognized countries. I'd love to hear your stories. See you in the next one.